said, I think that's the most beautiful cover I've ever had. Maybe except Earl, but I still love that cover.
I like to get this on.
I love the whole
tape.
book.
And, okay, tell about the cover a little bit, because it is fascinating. Then I want to get into the book.
It is, but somebody said the other day, it looks like Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil in Eccles County.
It's because it's a statue.
I know, it's a statue, and I hadn't thought about that before. I absolutely love it because, for many reasons, because I think it's just perfect pioneer woman and that period, and it so represents the character doll, who is that kind of very tough but tender character who can handle more than just breaking a nail. And she's an amazing woman, I think. I think I've really created a beautiful character here. She's supposed to be beautiful, my first beautiful character, actually. But I'm just, and this, my cousin Margaret Ann Levings, who plays a big part in this book for many, many reasons, and who it's dedicated to, she and her grandmother. Margaret Ann and I often would say the only way to please these old people, she was seeing my cousin, I call her Aunt May, and her grandmother, and she was visiting, and I was visiting my daddy, and you could take them a baked ham, and they were just as happy as they could be. And it was hard to make them happy. You know, you couldn't give them $1,000 and make them happy, or take them to the doctor, or do anything. Bring them a baked ham. So it looks like there's a baked ham in that woman's hand, and that's what my editor commented on, not knowing that Margaret Ann and I had this thing about baked ham. So we kind of laughed about that. It's been fun.
It is true. That does tend to work.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, old people, they may not have more than just a baked ham. They may just have ham that day and die the next. And so that's very important.
That's true. I want you to talk about the difference between what you're doing in Just Doll and Massacre and what you've done previously that people will be more familiar with.
Yeah.
The historical focus and what that means.
The historical focus means you're going to put a heck of a lot of work in there, researching that. And that is true, you do. You know, you have so much time that you can get confused because you start thinking it's better than it is and get satisfied with it because you've just done so much darn research that you think, well, I've done my work. And then you have to stop and refocus and say, no, this really is not very good. And by now I'm beginning to catch myself in things and be able to judge when something works and when it doesn't. And there again, this editor, working with this editor, if I didn't find it, he would. I mean, he ferreted out everything. He would just spend days on one page and one scene. He worked very, very hard. As far as how this differs when I think about this as compared to my previous work, my contemporary novels just happen to be contemporary. They could be historical. But here, I'm dealing more with structure. I'm dealing more with, I've become sophisticated enough. I've learned, my skills have improved enough by now. I've written so much that my writing is much finer, lighter, sparer. I don't have to try so hard, and I'm not trying to show off in my writing. So therefore, I'm writing almost like where I want to be. Not quite, but almost. And it takes a lot to please me. I'm no Marquez yet, but I work very hard, and I think that State and Base says everything I want to say about love, death, birth. It says everything that I want to say in so many ways, and about my Christian beliefs and what's important in life. And so, you know, I'm very pleased with this whole trilogy, regardless. Now let's talk about Massacre, because I guess that's, you know, going to come out at some point. I'll probably be dead by then. I always say that I'll have darted out in front of another car. I will do what I have to do. The way publishing has been since September the 11th, you almost have to dart out in front of some cars because a lot of things changed. And for one thing, the big places want something they know is going to make a lot of money. And we're talking about a lot of money. Lots, like millions and millions. And so they're more careful. They're not going to take a writer like my editor did me at Harper. And I've been very, very lucky and grow me, fertilize and water me every day, and groom me, and go to England and send me a gift, and I mean, they nurtured me, and that doesn't happen anymore. I have a friend who just committed suicide, and she had a book out from one of the big places. She found that being published isn't everything, that she wasn't happy. She had to come up with a better book. She had to come up with something else, and I mean, that's very common.
And it's so hard to do, because you usually take your best book as your first book.
That's
and
right.
then
That's right. So it's not a happy thing. So if I have to publish book by book at a different place, I'll do that. I'm pretty much going to stay where I can with Jeff Putnam, though, my editor.